we still have more New York hockey news this week, and it's news that is absolutely music to the ears of me and Mr. John Falkowski. The New York Rangers have a brand new head coach, and it is none other than the guy we've been calling for, Gerard Gallant.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Now, I just got to say this. There's been there's a Facebook post on a group that I was in, and somebody says, "Oh, another recycled coach. Ugh, doesn't really impress me." And I couldn't help but just think,
recycled?
You're an idiot, because everyone's basically a recycled. You know who wasn't a recycled coach? David Quinn. He was fantastic for this organization. You know, it's just, come on. You know what? You know who else was a recycled coach? Scotty Bowman. You know, only the winningest coach of all freaking time. You know who else was recycled? Mike Keenan. Oh, didn't he win a Stanley Cup with the New York Rangers?
Mike Keenan gets around more than one of those girls that does the world's oldest service. I got the PG manner, even though I'm making a very X-rated allusion.
Yeah, the world's oldest profession. But I mean, although I still don't think that's exactly true, because how exactly did you pay for the services? There had to be another profession in order to get there. But still, so finishing this up, just as one point, you go with Gerard Gallant. That's who you had to go with. This guy has a proven track record. First, I have his career coaching record right here, but I'll be flashing throughout this entire thing. But you're talking about a guy that's got over almost a 600 winning percentage in his last two stops. He has a 600 winning percentage actually in Vegas, and he was like 58% with the Florida Panthers. That's with the Florida freaking Panthers and a team that didn't exist before he got there. I mean, when fans don't want to say that they shouldn't be excited, and by the way, there will be a video I'm going to be making comparing Mike Keenan to Gerard Gallant. But when fans want to say, "Oh, that we shouldn't be excited by this hire," why? That's ridiculous. Oh yeah, well, no, don't worry, we're getting that off. But, folk, so how is this team going to change under Gerard Gallant?
I guess we're going to me. Well, the one thing, let me just start off by saying that I wish I should have just sent you a little intro for me for this segment, because I would have used Johnny Nash's "I can see clearly now that Quinn is gone. Dun it, dun it. Gallant will take all obstacles in his way."
You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard, truthfully.
Well, I could still do that for the edited version,
because that is literally my friggin' mindset right now. Is just, oh my god, so happy. I will actually answer that, Mr. Goldberg. Vegas got rid of Gallant because there were some backstage problems with him. He's had problems with ownerships because Gerard Gallant has wanted more of a hands-on approach with personnel and front office decisions. So player decisions, GM moves, kind of like how, I don't know if you're familiar with the Jets and their pursuit of Mike McCarthy a couple years back before they hired Mr. Crazy Bug Eye Adam Gase. Mike McCarthy wanted autonomy. He wanted to be basically the general manager and the head coach. So, Gerard Gallant has had some run-ins with previous ownerships. I don't really put too much stock into what happened with Florida because Florida had a mess in ownership. Now they have new ownership.
And in the GM, too.
Yeah, they can the GM. So now it's a completely different group of Florida. And I'm telling you right now, they probably wish if they didn't have Quenneville, they would wish that they had Gallant back because Quenneville is just one of the best of all time. But Gallant's the perfect fit for this team. He really is. And I don't know if any of you saw it, but Jaromir Jagr gave his seal of approval yesterday in the New York Post. Larry Brooks actually wrote a great article about it and referenced the fact that Jagr went to bat for Gallant. And Jagr stated that he will let his star players do their thing, and he will give the young players the ability to go out there and, show their creativity and not stifle them. And not that we needed to hear that from Jaromir Jagr, because we saw it happen in Florida. I know Anthony's Islanders ended up beating them in 2016 in that first round, that John Tavares overtime goal.
And John Tavares game-tying goal in Game 6.
Yeah, and then he had the overtime goal then.
No, he had both. He had the tying one and the overtime winner. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. Islander fans, John Tavares. Keep going, Phil. We do not say his name.
Oh, well, Mark just triggered an entire fan base. But yeah, I mean, you have a guy that he can take those young players and develop them to a next level. And he did that with Barkov, Huberdeau, Trocheck, Marchessault, Smith. And then with the latter two, Marchessault and Smith, in Vegas again. And then does anybody know what William Karlsson was in Columbus? You know what he was? He was a throwaway! They wanted nothing to do with him. And then he goes to Vegas, and Gallant helps turn him into a 40-goal scorer. And yeah, I know, he's probably not going to score 40 again, yada, yada. But he's still a top 6 forward. And that's what we need. We need a coach that can turn these guys into those players that know how to win, that know how to get to that next level, that develop. And we didn't need Jaromir Jagr to tell us that. But Jaromir Jagr just comforted every Ranger fan that was either on the fence or not too excited about Gallant. Now you have every reason to be excited because Jagr gave the seal of approval, and who doesn't love Jaromir Jagr as a Ranger fan? You know what? I didn't like him when he first came here, but he won me over. Even though I have some personal... I have a family member that knows Jagr pretty well, and she vouches for him too. But...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thought that was going to go the other direction for a minute.
No. My aunt worked for the Garden for almost 10 years and actually basically designed Mark Messier's and Mike Richter's retirement ceremonies from head to toe. And she had a lot of good experiences with Jagr. So I'm pretty sure she'd be happy to hear that as well. But you know what? This is the step in the right direction. This is what they needed. And you know what? When everybody talked about... I love how you made the Keenan comparison before. Because Gerard Gallant is going to come in and he's going to be that guy that can at least be their Buck Showalter. He may not get them all the way there, but him and Keenan are like here and there in terms of, personalities. Gallant will be able to handle the personalities better. But it's the right move. It's the right coach. It's the right time. Let's go get him, boys.
Now, we haven't heard from Anthony because we've been dominating this entire thing. So please, Mr. LaRocco, give your thoughts.
I think it's huge for the Rangers. I think it was the right hire. I know with Brind'Amour more likely going back to Carolina, kind of really sealed the deal for the Rangers. I mean, this guy, he was available, and they made, like I said, they made the right hire. And what I think it will do for the Rangers is make a comparison for you guys. They had a bad coach at David Quinn who didn't really know how to develop players. And before Barry Trotz came to the Islanders, you had Doug Weight. And Doug Weight, great person. Me and Filk met him one time. But coach-wise, look, he had look what... I'm going to make this comparison because there's guys like on the Rangers like Lafreniere, Kakko, Chytil. Like Brock Nelson before Barry Trotz was a vanilla, just 20, 25 goal scorer, fine, but he didn't hustle every night. He wasn't great defensively. And now look at Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson gets matchups against other teams' top line sometimes. He's a much better all-around player. Now he's more, now not just being a goal scorer, he passes the puck better. He's a more aware player. And that's the type of thing that a coach like Trotz Gallant can do for players. A lot of times players have talent, but they don't have the right guidance and coaching to really bring them to their full potential. And that's what I think Gallant has the opportunity to do here for the Rangers. So, like I said, I think he's going to make a world of difference. I think he's going to demand more accountability. I think he's going to improve their defensive structure, although it did get better this past year. I think he can make that even better. And I think he'll give some freedom to his offensive players to go out and do their thing, not be afraid of, having your ass stapled to the bench if you make a mistake. this is great for the Rangers. I mean, listen, I know we play in a tough Metropolitan division, but with Gallant at the helm, they make the right tinkering to their roster. They could push for a playoff spot next year. I know it's going to be really tough with Carolina back in the division, and you still have teams like Pittsburgh, which, by the way, I'm waiting for them to just fall out. It seems like it never happens.
And
Washington. Actually, truth be told, before this season started, my predictions were for the Rangers and Flyers to make the playoffs, along with the Bruins and Islanders, and the Capitals the Penguins missed. Boy, was I wrong there, but I just based that upon
me too.
I based that upon the recent exits early in the playoffs, and just they're getting older, but they just keep at them. But anyway, tough decision or not, I think the Rangers can really push here this coming season, and it started with the right coaching choice. So, I'm happy for you guys. Gallant's a good coach. I mean, now you got Laviolette in that division, Trotz, Gallant.
Brenda Moore,
even
Lindy Ruff.
Yeah, Brenda Moore. Yeah. So, it's gonna be a battle. But yeah, no, this is the right hire. The Rangers could have got. I'm glad they didn't get too cute. Hire Rick Tocchet. Not that he's a bad coach or went off the board. They made the right decision here. So kudos to Drury, and like I said, I think the Rangers are going to flourish under Gallant.
Before you go, Mark, caveat with Carolina, no Dougie Hamilton. How does that affect them?
They were good without Dougie Hamilton.
They were good without Hamilton, but now they're going to have to be better without Dougie Hamilton because he's probably not going to be there this upcoming season. They have a cap crunch.
They do have a cap crunch. They have a lot of questions they have to answer.
Who doesn't, really?
I guess you're right, but I think Carolina's is just about as bad as anyone's, maybe sans Colorado. I mean, the Islanders have one too that they're going to have to deal with. The Rangers are going to have to be a little creative this offseason, but I think they can get things done. But, that depends on if they add Eichel or not.
Well, that's also why the Eichel situation, we're going to have a whole another topic about that first. Before I even think about signing off on this, I do have to say this. First things first, just by naming Gerard Gallant, the Rangers got better in their own end. David Quinn preached high danger chances and for and against. That's what David Quinn preached. They were, I think, second in the league in high danger chances against, and third in the league high danger chances for. And you wonder why these goalies are out on an island all the time, why they were seeing 35 shots a night. They got better with Jacques Martin, but again, we have a professional coach. That's what we as Ranger fans have right now. And then just closing out, you got a guy that took a team that didn't exist to the Stanley Cup Finals. I cannot emphasize that enough. It wasn't a fluke. He did it. And he beat good teams in order to get there. He beat Winnipeg when they were at their best. So,
there's no way.
Yeah,
Mark, before you close it out, I actually, because you just mentioned Eichel's name, I wanted to mention, I don't know if any of you guys read Pierre LeBrun's article in The Athletic from earlier this morning, but I read it, and he said that that discussions with Buffalo and other teams and Eichel have actually been escalating to the point where he thinks there's a possibility that Eichel could be traded before the end of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Wow.
That's just the draft. Yeah, he said things are intensifying. He said not definite, but he said it's possible that he could be dealt while the Stanley Cup playoffs is still going on. And he said, I'm trying to remember now. He mentioned L.A., Minnesota, Philadelphia, the Rangers, and
Montreal.
There were two other. Was it Montreal? It might have been. There were two other teams he mentioned, but I remember L.A., Philly, Rangers, and Minnesota for sure. And then he listed two other. Oh, Anaheim.
We're out.
And it might have been Montreal. I can't remember that last team.
But I've heard of Montreal being rumored in there for a while. John, why would he be out?
LA said they were out. A beat writer named John Hover came out the other day and said LA said they were out on Jack Eichel. And I have a feeling, this is just speculation, conjecture on my part, but I have a feeling that they refuse to budge from Quinton Byfield. And LA absolutely refuses, and rightfully so, to deal him for Eichel. If Buffalo fans think that they're going to get one of those types of prospects for Jack Eichel, I'm going to tell you right now, you will be disappointed. Just letting you know right now, it's probably not going to happen. You're not getting a Lafreniere, and you're not getting a Byfield for him because no one's going to take on a $10 million cap hit and a major injury risk for a guy like Eichel. And not only that, but he's got a no movement clause that kicks in a year. Good luck dealing him beforehand, because if that day comes, he controls where he goes. So
right, and then basically it's going to be the Rangers or bust. I think after that.
Adams,
I pulled it.
That wall.
I pulled it up. He said teams I believe make sense: Los Angeles, Minnesota, Anaheim, Columbus, Philadelphia, the Rangers, amongst others.
Yeah, I mean, he believes that it makes sense. That's different from them being in on. But
yeah,
like I said, John Hofer came out the other day and literally said that LA is out on Eichel. And I mean, could that be a smokescreen? Sure. But I highly doubt it is, because Buffalo seems to want the world for this guy. And I get it, rightfully so. Adams has every right to
Not going to get it.
But no team's going to want to give up those types of prospects and those types of young roster players for a guy like this in this situation. They know Adams has his back against the wall.
I wonder if Columbus would offer up Seth Jones. I'm sure they would for Eichel, being that he wants out.
Not enough.
Value to them. Why is Seth Jones going to re-sign in Buffalo?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, that's a good point.
But again, the injury situation, I guess we're really doing a Jack Eichel video right now. The injury situation with Jack Eichel makes it impossible for me. If I'm a GM, if I'm Chris Drury, you're telling me I got to give you Nils Lundqvist and Vitaly Kravtsov and Filip and probably like a Ryan Strome only to match up the salary? That's steaming too much for me right now. To take on $10 million risk? Let's say he has the surgery, he's fine, he's an all-star again, and he's back on the way that we all think his career should go. He's a video game player, he's a video game character again. That would be great. But the very real risk of he has that neck surgery, he's never the same again, and now basically you're looking at Theo Fleury, 1999. No, and absolutely not.
Very good player for the Rangers in 2001. He was actually leading the NHL in scoring that year before his substance abuse stint.
Right, but that's why I said 1999.
He actually had a 90-point season in '99.
He had 12 goals.
Between the Flames and Colorado, he had a 90-point season that year.
Oh, no, I was thinking 99-2000.
Oh, 99.
Rangers.
Yeah,
12 goals for the Rangers that year.
Yeah, that team was putrid. But about 1988, 99. Okay. Never mind then. But
okay. All right.
Here's something that a lot of people don't know. The surgery that Jack Eichel wants, Peyton Manning actually had. And Peyton Manning, when he missed that season with the Colts before he was dealt away to the Broncos, he had that surgery, he came back, and he was really good for the Denver Broncos, especially that first year where he broke all those records. And I had him in fantasy football that year. I would know. But Peyton Manning had it, and he can come back. And he did it in a sport where it's higher impact, and you have 300, close to sometimes 400-pound guys, driving you into the ground. So, I mean, if you could take that, if Peyton Manning in his mid to late 30s can take that type of impact, I think Jack Eichel can come back from it in hockey. I mean, it's still a risk. Jack Eichel's 24, so he's younger. But, again, no team is going to give you the assets that you're looking for. I would say that, all right, Statboy Steven, I'm going to mention him right now, mentioned the Rick Nash trade as a comparable. I don't know if I see that entirely because I think it might take a little more. But let's just say it's Pavel Buchnevich, one of Ryan Strome or Filip, one of their top prospects, like either Kravtsov, Lundqvist, Zach Jones, someone like that, and then a first-round pick. I do that for Eichel. I do that. And I know a lot of people are not going to want to give up Nils Lundqvist, and rightfully so, but Jack Eichel is a proven elite player. And this team obviously has been sent a message. Start winning now, or things are going to change and heads are going to roll. And it's already happened. You've seen the coach, you've seen the GM and the president, they're all gone. So now there's an onus on this team to win sooner than later. You have 5 years left of Artemi Panarin on his current deal. Mika Zibanejad's deal expires after this upcoming season. They're going to make that move. I know a lot of people are not going to like it, but they're going to make that move.
Well, as just to close on this and saying for Nils Lundqvist, as I put the video of the highlights of him over in Sweden, and I referred to it as porn, that kid looks like the second coming of Sergei Zubov. And if that's the case, I don't want to deal him. So there's ways around it. After all, you know what? One of my knocks on Jeff Gorton, and you'd agree with me on this one, Phil, is when they traded Ryan McDonough, and JT Miller, we all looked at that trade and said, I think they misspelled Sergachev.
I knew they weren't going to get Sergachev a point. That was a pipe dream, but they didn't get enough. Not nearly enough.
Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough at all. So, all right. So there's a lot to digest from this. There'll be 2 separate videos in the edited versions. What do you think about Gerard Gallant coming to the New York Rangers? Is it immediately changing around the play of this team? And how about the coaches in this division right now? You have Alain Vigneault, Gerard Gallant, Peter Lavalliette, Barry Trotz, Rod Brind'Amour is coming back. I always want to go to Bruce Cassidy. I made that mistake the other day. I mean, come on. Lindy Ruff is still a good head coach. And, this is going to be murderer's row for coaches. So sound off on that. What do you think the Rangers should give up for Jack Eichel? Like, share, subscribe. Please, because we really appreciate it. And we've been growing thanks to you guys. Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.